Hi there, welcome to the Ching Cafe. My name is Belinda Dubston, and it is time for our monthly overview. What happened to September? I don't know, but what we do know is that Ching asked us to focus on decrease, locked hexagram, really strong focus on decreasing the things that are unnecessary in our lives and our businesses, removing all the noise, removing everything that's superfluous, and really getting to the bare bones of what we need to do. And perhaps you found a dip in your income and in your process and your energy for September as you worked with decreasing and getting rid of stuff that you no longer need. So this month, October 2019, here we are. Let's have a look at what the I Ching wants us to pay attention to. So our first hexagram for the month is hexagram 16, called enthusiasm. And we have two changing lines, so we do have change and flow, not too extreme. And let's get into what hexagram 16 is all about. Another name for this hexagram is providing for, finding ways of providing for what is needed for the time. Hexagram 16, you'll see there's earth in the bottom and thunder on the top. So in the external world, there's movement. On the internal world, there is holding, nurturing, and supporting. And what this hexagram is all about, this state of change, talks about the idea of aggregating the resources and the knowledge and the trained behavior you need, that when you need to act, you can act spontaneously with agility in the moment for what the moment needs. The example that goes with this is this idea of over years of training, say for example in martial arts. Now, disclaimer, I know nothing about any kind of martial arts, just a little bit of judo when I was a little one. But the idea is that the training of the neural training, ongoing training and practice builds neural pathways that when we are in a competitive situation, we respond to the opponent in front of us without having to think about it, because we've developed those neural pathways through practice and effort and investment of time. And so when we are called to perform or to act or to do what's necessary, we just do it. And we bring to the situation an enthusiastic, spontaneous, and agile response. So this month, we are being called to pay attention to the development we are bringing and we are cultivating in developing those neural pathways. In other words, we are being asked to focus on building our capacity to develop an enthusiastic, spontaneous response when we are called to produce that. In a way, there's a bit of a preparation process here. We're building and we are providing for what the situation needs. There are also tied to this hexagram themes of motivation, inspiration, enthusiasm, excitement, all these things that are tied to our ability to act spontaneously in a way that's aligned to what the situation actually needs. And so you might find that part of this month, particularly in teams, you're having to rally the troops, build up their excitement, build their commitment to what is needed, and create a focused motivation to what's really important and what needs to get done. So motivation and inspiration are going to be two key themes for you to focus on for the month ahead. Providing for what is needed and building up the internal reserves, resources, and expertise to be able to act spontaneously in the moment without having to think, and therefore seizing the day in so doing. So we have two changing lines. Our first one is in the first position, and this changing line says we perhaps are trying to get others, external people, to give us what we need. And the example of this is an elephant who's trapped in mud, who's going woo, 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 and trumpeting. Come help me, look at how terrible things are. And calling help. But in so doing, the mud is only a little bit of mud. You just need to walk off. And so in doing that, what happens is you use all your energy up in calling out to others and being grandiose in language and going rah, 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 and putting a whole lot of layers onto stuff that's not true to try and get people to give you what you feel they should or the things that you need. And in the process, all you'll end up doing is exhausting yourself. So this changing line gives us a very specific piece of advice. Number one, we have everything we need to move forward. We have internal autonomy to move forward. Our teams have what they need, so let's do it. Number two, this is not about being boastful, grandiose, overstating, exaggerating, bleating, and going on at a great length. This is about just staying focused on what you need to do, which is getting out the mud. Okay? Providing for your own activities to get where you need to go. And recognizing that this is really a focus leading up to the 10th of the month, around about the 10th of October, will be where our focus is being drawn to, not being loud and boastful and wailing to everyone we're here, to just get on with it, because we have the ability to do that, to provide for our own nourishment. The next changing line in the 5th position talks about this process or experience of really being under a lot of pressure. So we're all going to feel in the second part of October, roundabout leading up from the 10th of October up to the 20th of October, a feeling of being under a lot of pressure. And perhaps what we start to think about is that our ability to provide for and to be enthusiastic and be motivated is really under this kind of heavy, thick blanket. Almost like those things they put over you when you go to the dentist to weigh you down. That kind of feeling, like you weighed down by pressure that you are under, that we are all under. But this changing line says something really interesting. It says, just bear the load. It's going to be okay. It's going to change. We're going to get out of this. We are going to get through this. But the pressure is actually helpful. And it's helpful because it's preventing us from being over-enthusiastic, overdoing it, over-providing, being over-exuberant in our energy and motivation to move forward. And this heavy blanket at the dentist chair is weighing us down and just keeping us slow down enough that we don't overdo and get overexcited about where we're going. So as much in the second part of the month, you're going to feel this kind of pressure, just like heavy, and I just don't know how to move forward. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other, like the elephant. You've been out the mud, now you just have to keep on putting one foot in front of the other and recognize that the burden that's on your back, the pressure that you're under, that we're all under, is actually protecting us from overdoing it and creating injury. As we round out the month, the second flow of change working through the month is the Hexagram 17 following. Yes, we had that recently. And so part of this whole process, what we're being asked to pay attention to is to follow the lodestar, to follow the thing that's really important, to recognize that we're being guided to following something that's drawing us forward, a meaningful purpose that's getting us to where we need to go. And that is really critical for us to pay attention to. And of course, the thing with following is that as you follow something that's meaningful to you, whether it's a person, a purpose, a principle, you create a following behind you. So look in the month at how you can create a following, how you can rally people behind you, because you have a principle, you have a purpose, you have something you're moving towards that's really important. And in a way, this process of following this lodestar that we've had in the weekly overview is really, it cannot do harm. It's about getting us forward into where we need to be. And our task is to follow that and not fight it. So a really interesting month for us where we're really needing to draw our resources and focus on building those neural pathways of preparing and focusing on what needs to be done, on rallying the troops, on providing energy and motivation and enthusiasm for the task at hand, with a couple of changing lines to give us a little bit of things to think about this month as we work towards following what's really meaningful, following what draws us in our gut forward, and thereby creating a following behind us. Have a wonderful month, and remember to follow us on Facebook or Instagram for daily updates and other I Ching resources as we go along as a community. Thank you so much, and thank you for being part of the I Ching community.